Hey, 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 profit takers. It's Victoria here, back with another video. Hope you guys had a great trading week and looking forward to the last week of the month. Oh my goodness, this year is just going by so fast, right? Okay, so without any further ado, guys, let's get started. All right. So today I'm going to kind of go through a few of my favorite setups, okay? This one right here, and I love to use, I'm gonna see if I can drag my screen real quick because I do use this to cheat, okay? This, you can't even really see it, guys, but it is a tracker. It helps me to stay in line. I'm trying to see how I can get it available for everybody because the person who created it is not offering it anymore. That there is a version that is in Trading View that is also from one of the guys, Gcash, I believe Gary created it. It's there. I don't know what he charges for it, but if you are a Trading View person, he does have one for that. But the one for MT4 is no longer being made. So I'm gonna see what we can do, right? Because it does kind of help at least scale down the pairs so that you're focused on what is moving or what particular setup that you like. And for me, I do love the day after the peak confirmations trades. Of course, we kind of use these. Sometimes it's going to be a 0, sometimes you see a 1, but Friday, this particular pair for EuroCAD did close at a 0, so it's like a day 0. So it's letting me know that we're having a reset going long. So with that being said, I was like, you know what, let me go and make sure, right? I love to make sure that everything correlates. It doesn't matter that it doesn't, right? Sometimes it just doesn't matter. But if it does, then that's what you want, okay? So I'm looking at the daily time frame right now, and I'm seeing that we're kind of in a range here, but we are technically going into the third month, right, of a rise, if you will, because we had our first, where it kind of started down here. Let me use something else. When prices came here, right, we always have 3 months of rise, 3 weeks of rise, right? This whole concept of 3. So when I'm looking at this, prices was inside of the previous month's range of the high and low, and this is where it came down to retest. So I'm really happy seeing this and why it was considered a day 0 and then a retest to the low. So I'm seeing that on a higher time frame, so I'm really happy about that. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out in the daily time frame, we also have this high up here, okay, and this was a previous month's high. Now usually you got indicators that do this for you, but for me, sometimes I do like to get in here and get dirty, right? I want to mark up these things by myself, and it's a way for me to learn. So this was what, 1, 2, 3 months ago. Is that right? If I'm not counting this particular month, right? About 3 months ago when we had another retest to this particular high. So I'm expecting prices to come right back up here to this particular area, and that's why I'm agreeing with this whole bullish movement. Right, and even with H4, guys, still on that bullish run as well, okay? And I love it when it happens. So this particular indicator does print the 380R, and if you can see where the final print was, let's see how many weeks ago that was. I'm not going to count this one just yet, but we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 weeks ago where we had this high. And this is where I'm looking for prices to finally reach as well for the 380R, and then perhaps we'll get some support, some resistance at this area, and perhaps it may even drop. But for right now, for this week, I'm really happy with where this is actually going right now in terms of being a bullish week. So again, for this to ultimately confirm, obviously prices do need to take out the previous day's high, and that's how we're going to count our pushes, right? And actually we're going to count the push after the open range, okay? So as we know, my indicator here, the black lines is the open range of the week, right? Asia high and Asia low, the psychological support and resistance. All right. So when the market opens up again, guys, we can probably expect that area to be around here somewhere. Okay, somewhere around there. So I'm just going to wait till that happens. You know, it's still, you know, markets are closed right now, and I'm expecting for when it does open, what we want to do is push through the open range. Sometimes it can take till Tuesday for that to happen. So just keep that in mind. And then take out that previous day's high. So then we're going to, once it pushes out of the range, takes that high out, then we can start counting our pushes from there. And we're looking for those 3 pushes, guys. Okay. All right. So that's the Euro CAD. That's where I'm looking at. And, you know, this is just, you know, my theory here on what I can expect. It maybe might not work out, but if it doesn't break this previous day high, guys, or if it comes up here and gets resistance and it goes short again, then it just does, right? we know that markets are either going to break out and reverse, break out trend, or break out and do absolutely nothing, which means it's going sideways, right? So we just want to, you know, have our expectations set and waiting for that ideal thing to turn out. All right. So that was the Euro CAD. Now I'm going to go look at the Aussie CAD, and I thought this was pretty interesting because sometimes, like I say, sometimes these pairs correlate and sometimes they do not. So the Aussie CAD is giving us 2 days from last week's high, right, which happened on Wednesday. So when that happens, right, and we had news on Friday, so it didn't really play out as beautifully as we would have probably hoped it would in terms of continuing to drop all the way back to the, you know, the range. But with that being said, this one is looking mighty fine for going short if this is the pair you're going to look at. So I'm going to go to the daily high. Let's see what's going on here. The daily, excuse me, did I say the daily high? The daily time frame. As we can see, it is down. And I went ahead and marked the previous low. And this was way back in October of last year. Okay, so this is where I'm expecting prices to finally come down to, and then perhaps we're going to get some support there, and then we're going to rise. But as for right now, this thing is definitely short, guys, and this is a retest to the high that we're still working on. And if I drop down to H4, what am I going to find, right? I'm going to find, you know, that we did have a technically, right, this thing here was giving us, we had a low for that first week. So we were probably expecting this continue to rise. But when it came up here to this level, we had a breakout and it failed. So could price possibly come back and fall and come back down here before it gives us another opportunity to go long? Perhaps. So as of right now, we are in a position where prices are going lower. Okay. And I am happy with the way this is looking. Again, I'm going to wait for the open range and all that to happen. Again, it could be in this area right here when prices open up on Monday, Sunday, Monday, right? And what do? We always want to make sure we're trading away from the peak, because ideally, you know, if it's a peak formation high or peak formation low, you're looking for prices to retest in that area and then continue to drop or rise. And for this one, definitely looking for it to just do that, right? It could definitely come down here to the last week's low here, and then it could rise, or it can pull back a little bit. Who knows? But these areas are very, very important, and I hope that you guys are marking these on your own as well. Okay. So as of right now, I'm going to watch this one. I'm going to wait till Monday and Tuesday, or maybe even Monday. I might have enough data to decide what's going on here. But as of right now, this is typically one of my other favorite setups. So when markets open, this is going to change from 2 to 3. Okay. So at that point, right, I'm still looking, because we don't really have, anything going on. We closed in the end of day with consolidation. And what do we want to happen, right? Once the markets open, we want prices to push through the open range of the previous day's low. right? So that we can actually start counting those pushes down. That's what we want to do. So I'm just gonna mark that there for now, and I'm gonna wait, right? It's another good pair to put on your list, okay? Let's see, we have, what is this? This one is oil, all right? So this one, you know, oil, oh my gosh. We had 3 hits to the low here. I mean, this was a nice clear indication that we were going long. All right. So I was really expecting this to go long on Friday, right at the open, but instead it decided to give us another stop hunt to the low. And so I'm hoping with this push, this final push down here, I don't know if it's a final push, but I'm just talking crap right now. With this push right here, this stop hunt here, I'm really waiting for this thing to actually come through and break the previous day, right? That's what we want it to do. So if it wants to dance in the range here, I'm gonna let it do its thing. Again, opening range, when that happens, we're now gonna look to continue this thing on up. And then this again will turn into a 2. Let me look at H4. All right, so this looks pretty good. I'm happy with this. This is a bullish pattern, right? So I'm gonna bring out this here, and we're gonna identify this area because this is important. Right, it's right at 380R and also at a previous high, and this is technically 3 weeks ago. Okay, when we get into this new week of the rise, right, we're gonna expect prices to come back to this area. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for, guys. We'll be definitely looking for that to happen. So I'm gonna mark this area because I like that area, which is right at this last week's high. Okay, mark that out there. I already have this one marked. So now we're just gonna wait. I like oil because the higher time frames are also in the same trajectory, and that's what we're always looking for. Like I said before, sometimes that might not be the case, but your trades could still work out. But I love it when they're all in sync. It just really works out great that way. All right, so let's do one more. Let's just pick another one. Let's see, is GU looking all right, y'all? Let's see here. All right, this one could give us one more push down, right? It could definitely give us another push down before we see anything. Where is this range at? Let me go to H4. Why am I not seeing the bottom of that range? It's only one. Interesting. Into this thing. All right. Back to H1. This one definitely can continue to be short. Let me see here. Let's see. Oh, sorry guys. Okay. There's an area there. Looks pretty good for it to bounce off right here. And of course it already marked the 380R there for me, as you guys can see. And this is the space that we have for price to continue to push further. Okay, so this is why I think it has a little bit more to go. Okay. All right. So we had this push. Okay, this is such a small range. That's why I didn't see it, guys. It's hidden. Okay, let me just do this right here. There we go. So we had our first push. We got some support. Had a reversal. And then we had our second push down here. Okay, so I'm definitely looking for this to finish the range bound here, and then continue to push down through here at this area where we marked right here. Okay, and that area, guys, you should just go some, you know what, this quarter point right here, 1.250 is a good area for you to use. Okay, as where we can expect price to continue to push down to, because it only looked like it gave us 2 pushes and we need 1 more to go. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking about for GU. All right. And hey, if you guys thinking differently or whatnot, feel free to comment below. Let's have a conversation. Let me see what it is that you're thinking about here. Okay. All right. We got the Euro Aussie. Another favorite pair of mine. I don't know why I like all these pairs and these London pairs, right? Half the time I'm not even awake to trade these properly, but sometimes they do move in, you know, when it's the crossover from London to New York, right? Sometimes I do get lucky and sometimes I don't. So this one is giving us some, initially the higher time frames are short, but we are pulling back, and I believe we are going to get back into this area, especially that one. This is H4, so this is 2 weeks ago, but once this week starts, it'll be 3 weeks ago, getting back to this high. So let me look at the daily, see if there's anything there I need to look at. Okay. Okay, I think I'm just good for now. I'm happy with that. I don't need to go to 19.99 right now, right? I can just deal with that right now. Okay. All right, so that's what we're dealing with. I'm gonna ride this up. Again, this is a one day after the peak, usually one of my favorite trade setups, because what would happen is we have our signal for this day, and then the next day, what are we doing? We're waiting for prices to retest the previous day, right? We're waiting for it to retest that, especially the low, so that we can go ahead and look to go long. Now my computer is acting funny real quick. All right. Okay, I always kind of like to mark the absolute low, and then I use this order block. And this is a little janky, guys. Sorry, I'm not being able to get these lines here straight, because I am using, this is MT4. And I really would like to get this indicator for MT5, because I do prefer that now that I've been using it for a while. I'm still haven't 100% crossed over to TradingView yet. But you know, some days I go over there, and some days I just don't. But because I trade out of this particular platform, I just prefer to chart on this platform. It's just my preference, and you know, everybody has their own preference, right? Okay. So this right here, again, my favorite trade to take the day after. So you have your signal, and then the next day after you get your signal, then you know you're looking to go long, because we always know that the day after the peak low is the trade. So what we're doing here is, you know, once price opens, we want this thing to push through this high here. Hopefully, you know, it's never going to be pretty when it happens. Okay, just remember that, you know, the range is going to be opened around down here somewhere. And the market's opened probably around here, I don't know, but that's just what I'm guessing. So whatever it's going to do, if it's going to trickle back down here, whatever it's going to do, guys, I know I have my my lows identified, and then of course the previous day's high, because that's what we want. We want price to push through that and then continue on towards this area here, the 1.70, which I think will be ideal. Okay, going back to the previous day's range and breaking through that. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking on EA. Let's see, what else do we have? AU and GU are, this one for whatever reason, they are the same. This one is the same for now, okay, for now. But this is definitely dropping, but it's the higher time frame is bullish, but it's definitely dropping here. And let me see what the day is showing. Okay, all right, we got some support down here, guys. That is going to be my target, that one, and this retest here is also a target. And the fact that it's darn near close to this quarter point here, the 0.6250. Okay, so those are the areas I'm going to mark for price to fall down. And if you can see this big picture, it just really looks like a gigantic, you got your first, so you have your M, right? We have a slight pullback here. This could be the A, another pullback here, the other A. And so what we're waiting for is for price to come back down. So we have this here. That's your A. Here's your other A. So we want price to come back down somewhere around here, or here, whichever one. Could be totally the other one. And then give us opportunity to go long again. But I see two A's here. Let's see if that's going to be what it's going to be. All right. Not sure yet. But as of right now, when price is open, we'll be 2 days away from the initial high, the retest. And you know, we love our retests because they usually play out very nicely. Okay. And with the higher time frames being long, then you have one or two options. You can wait, right? You can wait for this thing to take the long position that you want, or you can just ride it down short and just enjoy it. Okay. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait again. This is the waiting game, guys. Definitely the waiting game. Want to wait for Monday to open up, and we want to wait for prices to push through the open range, and that way we can start getting in to ride this down until it's ready to go back long again. All right, so I am liking that for the continuation on Monday or Tuesday, whenever it does play out. Because again, Monday or Tuesday, it could range for those 2 days, or maybe it ranges Monday, or maybe it moves on Monday. But I'm really looking for it to break through and then give us that opportunity. So there's at least 2 pushes left here, and we'll see what happens. Go from there. Okay. So those are the favorite ones I have for right now, guys. I mean, you know, you always want to make sure that you're reviewing everything. You're actually charting your own, making your own flashcards. It's very important. You know, sometimes I can make my own flashcards, sometimes I can look at other people's flashcards and, you know, try to make sense of it. But I think if it does make sense for you, I think you should still go into that activity of actually doing that yourself as well. Okay, I think it's important. And as I'm saying that, I'm looking at CJ. All right, so CJ has been ranging for 2 days. So perhaps that third day we may have a good trade. You know, once it finally breaks, once it breaks through the previous day's high there. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So this is interesting. When prices are accumulating like this is also a great signal, right? Definitely. So you want to put this one on the list as well. Okay. All right, guys, I don't want to keep you guys too long here, but I just wanted to share just briefly what I was looking at. Again, feel free to join us in the locals. I do have a chat open that's live that you can also comment in and drop in your questions. Any charts that you, maybe what you're looking at, something that I'm not, and you want me to look at it, just drop it in there. You know, let's collaborate. All right, guys, with that, I want you to have a great rest of this weekend, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you. Ciao.